Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to bring you another guide on Black Clover Mobile, and this time it's going to be on PvP. Now PvP is definitely a lot harder on global compared to JP and also Canada, mainly because back in JP etc, what you can do is there's a trick called like weekly reset climb, which basically what it says is like you have to save up all your tickets ahead of time. Then as soon as it resets, what you're going to see is all bots at the start, and you just rush through all of the content and push as high as possible. And because you're fighting bots, as long as you can clear them quicker, then theoretically you are actually able to reach all the way to Legend 1 if you do have enough tickets. And on the tickets front, it's also easier because back in JP and also Canadian version, if you go into your guild, there is actually all of those arena ticket in the captain shop, so you can actually buy 9 tickets per week. So all of that have been removed from the game now, so you can no longer buy arena tickets in the guild. And also if you take a look at the very beginning, there's no longer bots. So I very stupidly saw it was bots at the start because that's the way it was in JP. So I actually autoed till then I see this guy with 2 hidden faces. I was like, wait a minute, those are not bots. And also obviously I lost the first one while I was autoing. So that is not a good start. But still, it's still possible to do some climbing, but definitely a lot harder because you have a lot less tickets. The ticket shortage also really shown from the lower league front as well, because if you actually go into my ranking last week, so I was in lower league last week, you have to be in top 500 to get promoted to upper league. You can see here I was only at 472, so very much on the borderline, and I needed 5,240 points, which is absolutely crazy. I actually done a bit of calculation. So basically, you start off at 2,000 points if you didn't make it to the upper league, and every single day you have 12 tickets because you get one every 2 hours. Every single win normally bring you on average 40. It's normally a range between like 35 to 45. So I'm just going to say 40 on average. 40 times 12 times a day times 7 days a week. That actually comes to 3,360. Then you add in the initial 2,000. Basically, you get 5,360. So you can see here, for me to actually make into the top 500, I pretty much need to win. I think I only lost twice in attacking last season, and that's just basically kind of the minimum requirement you need if you're not buying tickets. So that's it's just absolutely crazy. And also the other thing is you may think you may be able to pick up points from defensive wins. That's not going to be the case, and it's not on EU. I'm not sure how it is in other servers where there are also so many people. But in EU, I literally get attacked like 100 times a day. There's a cap on defense win and also defense lose. You can only win maximum 400 points from defense and also lose maximum 400 points from defense. And pretty much every single day I'm maxed out on all of them. So every day from defense I'll have a net gain of 0 points. So you can't really hope for any defensive wins unless your defense win rate is like 70-80%. And even then you can't even let that many people attack you because eventually they add up. So it's just absolutely crazy. Really, really hard to even get promoted to upper league, and then let alone having some spare tickets for you to then do that kind of reset climb is just really, really difficult. Considering you only have one enemy each time. If you don't like that person, you need to refresh. And then you potentially, if you do want to reset again, it costs 10 gems, so it's not worth it either. So you can't even climb very fast. So that's kind of why overall it's just really, really difficult. Now there are ways around it, and that's kind of the tips I'll be talking about today. So today I'm going to focus mainly on 2 topics. One is how to get extra tickets, so that you have enough tickets to get a head start. Because a lot of those do have a requirement that you need to be in the top however many players. So for example, I need to be in the top 100 for me to, as well as 2,900 points for me to reach the reward that I just meant to claim early on. So it's definitely really tough. So you do need those extra ticket. And then the second topic I'm going to talk about is how to this really cool game mechanic in Upper League, which I didn't know about before, but it's actually really, really cool because you can actually hide 2 of your characters, and there's then a lot of mind game that you can play with it. So I'll also talk about some tips here about how to judge whether you can take an opponent based on their clue are shown, and also how to actually disguise your own team. Okay, so the first one on extra ticket. So like I said, you can't get anything extra in the guild. However, you can get some extra in the events. Now, depending on whether you're free to play or if you actually afford to spend a bit, it's going to be different. So I'm completely free to play. So you can see here, I can't collect anything because I haven't paid. And you can also see my mileage. It's absolute zero. So I can't go through the normal option, which is actually you buy the battle pass. If you actually buy the battle pass, you can see here there are 5 arena ticket you can get every season. So that is definitely a very good start. But what I still meant to get my tickets from is the event's gone now, so I can't show you, but it was a dice event. So I think I meant to pick up an extra 4 or maybe 5 arena ticket from the dice event. I basically saved them up for when I am ready to do my PvP rush. So that's kind of why I was able to bring them over to this season when I was trying to climb up a league. So that's basically one way of how you can get some extra ticket. And those extra tickets really do help because it kind of is the main reason why I was even able to save any towards my new season. Because like I said, the rank requirement is so high that I pretty much have to use up all of my dailies. Also, one thing is you probably do want to buy one extra every single day. Today I bought out because I was trying to climb up a league, but normally I do advise just buy one every single day. The first one's a lot cheaper, it's only 60, so it's still worth it. So just buy one every single day in preparation for your promotion to upper league. So that's literally the first thing you want to do is just to make sure you have enough resources. Now the second thing is um, unlike the lower league where you are pretty much getting attacked so many times that you'll be maxing out on both defense and also attack points, defense win and lose points in upper league because it's limited by only 1,000 people. So 500 who were in there last time and 500 who just got promoted. You are not as likely to be attacked all the time, so you potentially can actually get some net difference from your defensive wins. And basically, if you're actually able to disguise your team properly, you can actually pick up some nice points. And I do think that's one thing you really want to make sure you are doing. And basically, if you actually do go to the defense setup, what you can see here is that you have the option of hiding two. And basically, what you see is that when you do face someone, you can see you can only see two of those characters, but you can't see the other two. So, how do you decide whether you can actually beat that person or not? First of all, if the person's ranking is high enough, what you can actually do is you just need to go to the top 100 ranking. If they're actually within that, sorry, is it season ranking? No, it's league ranking. If you can actually see it, then what you can see is how many points they have, and you can potentially actually see their team already. So that's one easy way of how you can potentially do that. The other thing is if they have ever attacked you, so you kind of need to. Oh, I just got attacked. But yeah, one thing you can also potentially do is that this pattern is not obvious, but sometimes when you actually have someone with a guild, what you can then do is you can check your history to see whether you ever faced that person or not to get some extra insight on what kind of team they're using. Normally, you can tell based on their first of all their icon as well as their guild name. So the combination of those two sometimes are unique enough for you to know exactly what team you'll be facing. So that's basically how you want to decide on who to attack. And obviously, normally just a rule of thumb, if you actually look at all of the top ranking teams, you can normally get a feel of the meta. A lot of the teams are quite similar. For example, if I see a Lotus, a very high chance it's going to be match up with a Mars. So you can see a Lotus Mars here, Lotus Mars here, Lotus Mars here. So that's a quite standard combo. Similarly, if you see Raya, you normally see a Lect. That's quite standard combo. And extending onto that, a lot of people do Raya Lect as well as Finro Valtos to go for that 110 kill. So once again, even if you're not able to guess the other members of the team, you kind of know the strategy they're going. So for example, if I see a team with Ryan deck, even if I don't know whether they're trying to speed up, I know they're trying to do 110 kill, so I definitely need to protect myself, etc. So you need to understand the meta based on um, and try to guess the meta based on the two characters shown. So that's the first thing you have awareness of. Now, in terms of setting up the team yourself, there are actually two strategies which I think is very much viable, and this is what I would call the bait and also the bluff strategy. So basically, the idea here is that you want your because you give away two of your character, you want your enemy to have a misconception of who your team is, and basically it can work in two directions. It could be bluffing; you don't actually have that team, and you're trying to scare away the enemy from not attacking you. Because, for example, right now one very toxic team would be. Let me actually show it. One very toxic team I mentioned earlier is the right and leg combo. If you don't have the right counter for that, and to be honest, there aren't that many counters. So if I actually see a Finro and Valtos, a lot of people are going to guess that's actually going to be a right and leg. And even though I have not summoned on them, I give up that impression that I am, and therefore I'm bluffing, but I may potentially scare away some people as a result. So that is one strategy you can be using, which is bluffing. The other strategy you can do when you are setting up your defense team is actually what I'm doing, which is what I would like to call baiting. So what you want to do is once again give off a false impression of exactly what your team is, making the enemies think that they can beat you, but in reality, you hid away your counter to the one that you forecast or predict they will be used to attack you. So, give an example here. I set up my Lotus to be shown. A lot of people see Lotus and they see, oh, I'm showing one other character, but not the one paired up with Lotus. So therefore, maybe I'm trying to hide whoever here who is quite important. And most people are going to guess that's probably Mars because that's a very common meta. So the minute people see a Lotus and paired up with an empty face, people are going to guess that's maybe Lotus and Mars. Then they see Charlotte. Charlotte's normally paired up with someone like Red Asta for that kind of multiple one shot kill with the rose mark, etc. So people may think that is the team I'm going after, or they may think vast majority of the time you normally bring like a healer or at least like a shield option such as Radis onto your team. So they may even think I'm playing, Lotus, Mars, Charlotte, then maybe Mimosa or Radis. And therefore they think, okay, if that's the case, you're trying to play it slow, but I can actually burst you through with a right and leg combo. So a lot of people would then end up trying to say, okay, I have a right and leg team, therefore I can easily take down this because I'm predicting to be a predominantly blue meta or something like that. So therefore they try to attack me. But what they didn't know is that I'm actually hiding away my counters for right and leg because I have William who's able to fortify and therefore protect my whole team, as well as my red army who's then able to counter. And if they're using like Valto's skill 3 to do one attack and then Lect as well, potentially two counter attack and I can kill off that Riot. So that's kind of why this team works extremely well and I'm baiting the Riot and Lect combos to try to attack me because I know that is actually one team I'm able to overcome. So I'm baiting them to attack me. But that's kind of the main two strategy I really want to show you guys, which is the bluffing and the baiting strategy, depending on how you want to show your team. Now, when should you actually use bluff and when should you bait? I think there's also a bit of a science to it. Remember what I said earlier. Every single day, there's a defense limit on how many points you can get from defense wins, and that is normally 400 points, so about 10 wins. So what I would suggest you to do is you count how many victories you have. So for example, if I count your defense victories, I have 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 defense victory right now, which basically means I can get points from 2 more defense wins. So therefore, I really want people to still attack me to make sure I at least still get those 2 wins. So that's potentially when I want to use my bait strategy, which is what I'm doing. I'm trying to bait people to attack me so that I can get those 2 extra attack wins. However, once I am approaching maxing out my defense wins, then I don't actually think there's any value for people attacking me because I can only lose point, but I can't win any point. And that's maybe then when you want to switch to a bluff strategy to scare people away so that they do not actually attack you. So this way you kind of maximize how much defense points you're able to win and still preventing you have still kind of like protecting yourself from any potential defense loss. So you have a net positive there. So I think that's very viable strategy for setting up your defense in the upper league. Now you do have to take care of your own defense win rate though. I think this is only worthwhile if you actually have a pretty solid defense win rate. I would say if it's anything less than 30%, then you are much more likely to lose points than winning points. So therefore, just try to scare people away and try to bluff because it's very likely when people do attack you, you'll be losing anyway. So just try to prevent people from attacking you. But if you do actually have an okay-ish defense win rate, so I would say at least 30% or higher, then you could try what I'm doing right now, which is try to bait people into attacking you. So therefore, you are then able to pick up some net difference from the defense side.